sorry, I had to go back to quick adjustment. Okay. The name of the series is a 4-part series. This is going to be called Once Upon a Child. We're going to talk about childhood stuff, things happening, traumas and stuff. And I figured for part 1, I'm going to get into basically, generally neglect. Not exactly necessarily abuse, but basically get attention. And this is the part I'm really targeting my video about basically 0 to 7, 8-year-olds, that critical time of life, things that happen, things to think about. Like for me personally, as the things happen actually in my, let's say on one part of my life, after that age, at 7 years old, I was never going to drink alcohol. I made my mind up very early in that life. What's the cigarette? A lot of influence and stuff I share where I took it in. And just that example, but that had to do with the video. That's just a little overlay of what kind of, but I'm hitting up on. So here goes my thoughts on this. If you're going to have kids, there's going to be a dad, stepdad, mom, stepmom, uncle, whatever else. It's for everybody. So I look at it this way as it can't just be mom and dad all the time. Let's face it, you need uncle help, cousins help. Trust me, I know. I don't have no kids of my own, but trust me, lead me to little league, little cousins, brother, my little nephew. I've had life involving a lot of kids, a whole lot of kids. Not my own kids in the neighborhood, kids in needed stuff, And the biggest thing I always noticed, there's been a big thing of neglect. Like, maybe mom works too much, dad's got in the picture, dad works too much, mom not in the picture. It's like the kids feel like attention. Or every weekend, mom we gotta go out, leave mom, daycare with grandma. You gotta love it, leave mama sometimes. I get it. And sometimes it don't feel like no big deal now, but kids remember stuff. Whether on a conscious level or unconscious level. They remember you've been there or not. Believe me, I remember. For me personally, to be honest with you, probably 2 years of my childhood, I really have more memories of my grandparents than my parents. Situation that was not neglect, this situation is just in that general, just because, that they split, mom started with 2 jobs, so I stayed with grandparents. Basically most of my childhood, not to say all of it was all like everything in the world, no, it was just more like, that's where my memory at, because that's kind of where I was at most of the time. But how about the poor kid don't have anybody? I did jump there with people of all sorts of levels, friends, associates, family, and I've seen it all, especially the one most bothers me when you basically don't do nothing to take care of your kids. That's the most irritating thing. Or get financially or nothing else, just be their presence in their life, And then you leave them no outlet to go to, That's why I got to tell friends, okay, you single mom, look, try to find a sister, can't leave. You got to go out and hang out. Make sure you live with somebody that actually real tender the kid, like your uncle, or maybe the kid's grandmother, your mother or dad, or the other parent, mother and dad, somebody. So we got a lot of kids out here basically been fending for themselves for years. I'm talking about even people do network at church. That's it. I've seen all this. And it just makes me shake my head. It just, I don't know. I get it. Things happen and things go through and people go through things. I 100% understand that. I said things ain't be perfect all the time. I understand that. But there has to be a point to some degree that something has to be done. As I said, I know 2 people that work in child protective services, and it's just talking to them about stuff, it makes you shake your head. I said, none of it's good I'm talking about. Some stuff here I'm talking about good, not this particular video. I had people basically leave the kids and hey, don't do nothing with the kids and leave them in the home for hours on end. Or how about, leave the kid locked up in a hot car in a 100-degree day because you want to go hang out with your friends. That's just, those things like that really irritate. Really do. But like I said, I don't say anybody be perfect. Dog done it. We ain't perfect. Dog our parents weren't perfect. Grandparents weren't perfect. Our great-grandparents weren't perfect, so on and so on. But there's some fundamental things that have to be followed. And I think sometimes we forget with kids, we said, go over laws, run the kid off the corner, whatever, time with them. We forget we kids want attention once, And some kids need more attention than others. I have a nephew autistic, believe me, he needs a lot of attention. I had kids with special needs. I coached baseball, little league. They didn't like attention more as well as some kids do. And you have to kind of be aware and understand that, hey, do your homework, get a help, there's groups, network. parents don't understand. Sometimes it's a good thing to network. That's a great thing to network. I think it is church on Sunday. Any halfway good for anything church. And worth their salt in Jesus is going to have some little kids or somewhere or somebody can do a situation talked about. They need a kid a little bit. They get stuck. They maybe figure out some resources. Hey, maybe you need kids to have some friends. You know, they would have a lot of kids around. And it's fine. You know, they don't need to be left alone to fend for themselves. Not leaving them home for hours. And some kids, they do it at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Leave them home in hours, they try to work a second job, whatever. Sometimes you got to struggle that money a little bit and got to be their kids. You can't leave them there, you know, starting to get to school. You can't leave them raise themselves. I've seen that happen enough over the years. And it's kind of irritating me. This is why I started these set of videos. I said, it's time. It is time. I'm probably a couple years overdue to say some stuff. And I'm certain some people might get a hold of this video, and yes, they're going to be pretty mad that I'm criticizing parents or whatever else. But I am taking it as much, hey, take it as a time to, hey, you need to do better. If some of you agree with me, psychologists, I want to know, let me know. If I'm wrong about something, I'm more than willing to say, hey, I'm wrong. No problem there. But this is some of the stuff, some fact. And one fact I would say is that I've been reading grades from 0 to 7 years, biggest influence on kids as a parent. And when they get out there, everything becomes reprogrammed. You're fighting friends, influences, and the girlfriend later on down the road, boyfriend when you get to high school. There's a lot of stuff. You get with teachers, or their favorite rapper, their favorite athlete, their favorite actress. You know, their favorite superhero. You know, there's a lot of things you fight along the way as they get older. And when you got there, that's why I started this from 0 to 8 years old. That's your main influence time. You gotta play it in there. They'll stay there. They might, a lot of them will go away for a minute. Don't panic, but they'll come back. If you can't neglect to say, okay, whatever. Hey, but that don't mean also, when you do have a network, it don't mean you can't leave kids to go out every weekend and get with them. Sometimes you got to take kids with you. And this is my thing I deal with single people who got kids, you know. The person you date has to love kids. If not, you do not need to see them. And you've been in them 4 or 5 months, and you think about being serious with them, you start seeing, hey, they're ready to introduce a kid, are they ready to be a full-time parent? I've seen it happen situations that they get married and the other parent, primary parent passed away, and the one spouse and the step parent, because of the other parent that passed away on the other end, had to take over being the primary parent. So, you know, and this person be able to prepare for that. That's the key question I ask everybody all day, all the time. I said, if you guys say, I'm going to do it, now I'm kind of iffy, but that's a personal thing. That might be different set of series of videos. I'm not going to go on that part. That's like a personal thing for me. And I think that's not fair for this video, but I'm just saying if you have to kind of understand. With this person dealing with that who's got a kid, or you have kids together, y'all both have kids. Y'all want each other kids, how they met. Maybe families it can be a task and a half. And sometimes somebody feels they've been neglected by one parent or the other, or the step parent, usually with the parent of the other kids, it becomes World War III sometimes. But it's okay. We have to work things out. I'm just saying is, let's be open, let's talk about it, let's think about it, let's be about it. And your little babies, hey, somebody needs attention. Some kids don't need much attention. They're self-reliant independent. Sometimes they try to play independent now. You just got to understand each kid's individuality and do a lot of homework. And sometimes most of them will sit down and try to get a kid in psychology. But some basic fundamental stuff, yes, you kind of need to understand. But the other thing, the most important thing, observe, love, willing to observe, and try to solve. It's not the best you can. That's it. Not always be perfect, but doggone it, you got to respect the effort. I promise you, they'll be appreciated in time. You can't leave the kids just by itself to fend for themselves. You leave them at home for hours, run around do your thing. Sometimes you gotta go with a parent, I get it. But at some point, you gotta go down and say, okay, time for me and the kid. Or kids, or whatever else. Alright, well that's it for now. I've about been on this thing about 10 minutes. I got nothing to say right now, but thank you people. I appreciate y'all. Go ahead and say an opinion, whatever else, you're good to go. Or any comments, I'm sure there'll be some here. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much.